City bus stop, early evening, drizzling. The sun has slipped behind the city skyline, casting long shadows that blur into the damp concrete. A cold breeze scatters plastic wrappers and last-minute commuters across the cracked sidewalks. A worn wooden bench sits under a flickering street lamp. On it sits Ethan Marshall, late 30s. Janitor uniform, rough hands, unshaved stubble. A lunchbox on his lap, uneaten. He stares ahead at the flashing traffic light like it owes him answers. Sound of sniffles. He turns. To his left, barely visible in the dusk, is a little girl, around 6. Hair tied with pink ribbons, soaked to the scalp. Her knees are pulled up to her chest. She's crying, but trying to hide it. Ethan watches, unsure. People pass. No one stops. He clears his throat and scoots an inch closer. Ethan, softly. "Hey, you okay there?" The girl doesn't respond. He notices her backpack. Unicorn pattern. A name tag is scribbled on it, but smudged by rain. "Ethan, you waiting for someone? A parent?" She finally turns. Her face is flushed from crying. Her lower lip trembles. "Little girl I was." But they didn't come. Ethan adjusts his posture. Looks around. No adult in sight. Ethan. "All right. Maybe they got stuck in traffic." "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Little girl Emma." "Ethan." "Okay, Emma. I'm Ethan. You live around here?" She shakes her head, eyes wide and unsure. "Emma. I don't remember the address." Ethan's brow tightens. "Ethan. Okay, that's all right. Do you know your dad's number? Or your mom's?" Emma hesitates, then whispers, barely audible. "Emma, I only know my daddy's name." Ethan leans closer. "Ethan. And what's his name?" Emma looks up, her voice a fragile thread. "Emma Julian Thatcher." Ethan blinks. The name rings like a thunderclap. Julian Thatcher, one of the city's wealthiest businessmen. He straightens slowly, heart thudding. He doesn't say a word. He looks at Emma again, her small frame trembling under the weak shelter of the bus stop awning. Ethan, almost to himself. "Well, I guess you're not just lost. You're in the wrong world altogether." She doesn't know her address, just her father's name, Custodial Supply Room. Next morning, dim lighting. The buzz of a flickering fluorescent light hums above Ethan, who's bent over a mop bucket, wringing it out like it insulted him. His uniform still damp from the night before. A loud ka-chunk from the time clock. He clocks in, same as always. Only this time, the supervisor is already there. Supervisor, Frank. Sternly, clipboard in hand. "You left 20 minutes early yesterday, Ethan." "I had a supervisor," interrupting. "Not asking why, Ethan. Just marking it." Frank scribbles something with a permanent marker. Ethan watches him with quiet fire. "Ethan. It was unpaid overtime anyway." Frank shrugs. "Frank. We docked you a full hour. Policy's policy. Clean the East Wing today. Some executive visit." Ethan doesn't argue, just nods. Quiet anger behind his eyes. He grabs his mop, shoulders his supply belt. Same bus stop, later that day, same bench. This time under harsh noon sun. Steam rises from pavement cracks. Emma sits there again, alone, hugging her knees. Her hair is neater. Her backpack looks packed, but she's clearly been crying. Ethan walks toward her, slower this time. "Ethan. Hey. You again?" Emma nods without looking up. "Ethan. You all right?" She doesn't respond. Ethan sets his mop bucket down and takes a seat beside her. "Ethan, your dad not coming?" Emma shakes her head, eyes full of confusion and something else, maybe shame. Ethan pulls out his lunchbox, opens it. Inside, a peanut butter sandwich, an apple, and a small thermos. He looks at it, then at her. "Ethan hungry?" Emma eyes it cautiously. "Emma, I didn't eat since yesterday." Ethan breaks the sandwich in half, hands her the bigger piece. "Ethan, well, that's a felony in kid court. You better fix that." She smiles, small, shaky, grateful. They sit side by side, chewing slowly, a moment of peace in a world that rarely offers it. Ethan looks down the street. No sign of any luxury car, nanny, or bodyguard. He turns back to her, more serious. Ethan. Emma? You sure you're supposed to be here? Emma pauses, then shakes her head. Emma, I don't know where here even is. He offers the little girl food from his own lunchbox, alley behind the bus stop, afternoon. The rusted steel of the dumpster reflects the sun as Ethan finishes tossing out janitorial waste, hands stained with bleach. His fingers tremble, not from the cold, but from fatigue. Just beyond the alley, seated on a cement stoop near the bench, Emma nibbles the last bite of sandwich. A pigeon hops nearby. She doesn't flinch. Ethan joins her with 2 sodas, one clearly bought from a vending machine with his last coins. Ethan. Trade ya? 1 cold drink for a smile. Emma gives a faint one. She accepts the soda, clutches it like a treasure. A beat. Ethan, Emma. What do you remember? Where you live? Maybe a phone number? Anything? She sips, wipes her mouth with her sleeve, looks up at him, trusting. Emma. I don't know the street name, but our house is big. Really big, like it has 3 staircases. One's just for guests? Ethan lifts his brows. 3 staircases? Emma, and we have this dog, Charlie. But Daddy says I'm not supposed to touch him when guests are over. Ethan's face tightens. He doesn't press. Instead, Ethan. What's your daddy's name? Emma doesn't hesitate this time. She leans in as if sharing a secret. Emma. Julian Thatcher. Silence. The wind picks up a loose napkin and sends it fluttering between them like a silent gasp. Ethan's hand tightens around the soda can. His mind reels. Julian Thatcher. Real estate tycoon. On every billboard in the city. Mansion in the hills. Helicopters. Speeches. Scandals. Wealth wrapped in steel and glass. Ethan breathes slowly. Keeps his face unreadable. Ethan and your mom? Emma looks away. Emma. She's not here anymore. Daddy says she's with the stars. Ethan swallows hard. A familiar ache rises in his chest, but he buries it. He studies her again. This little girl, small, soft-spoken, belonging to a man who probably hasn't tucked her in once. Ethan stands, dusts off his pants. Ethan. Okay, Miss Emma, let's figure this out. But slowly, all right? He doesn't say a word about Julian Thatcher. Doesn't ask for money. Doesn't run to the news. He just holds out his hand. Ethan. You trust me? Emma nods and takes it. Dad hides his reaction, choosing not to tell the girl he knows of him. City side street, evening. Rain begins, gray clouds roll in fast, thick and low, pressing down on the rooftops like a warning. A crack of thunder rattles the sky. The first drops fall, lazy and cold. Ethan walks slowly along a cracked sidewalk, one hand guiding Emma, who clutches his index and middle finger like handlebars. They have no umbrella, no plan. The wind kicks up. Emma stumbles slightly. Ethan steadies her. Ethan, you sure you're not cold? Emma shrugs, but her lips are turning blue. Ethan sighs. He pulls off his thin janitor jacket, barely insulated, patches worn, and gently drapes it over her small shoulders. Emma, but now you'll be cold. Ethan, I'll survive. You're the guest here. Rain begins to come down heavier, soaking through his shirt, soaking through his shoes. The city blurs into a watercolor of taillights and puddles. They reach a crosswalk. A line of sleek black cars pass. Behind their tinted windows, people warm, dry, detached. Ethan squints across the street, sees a police cruiser parked outside a diner. A beat. He hesitates. Emma notices. Emma, are we going to talk to them? Ethan looks down at her. Her hair is dripping, plastered to her cheeks. Her fingers are trembling. But her eyes, not afraid, not anymore, just quietly pleading. Ethan. Not yet. They keep walking. Run-down apartment building. Night Ethan punches in the code to an old gate. A rusty creak. Emma steps inside, eyes wide at the overgrown vines and broken porch light. Not scared, just curious. They climb narrow stairs, every step groaning under Ethan's weight. Ethan's apartment. Living room, moments later. Dim light. Second-hand furniture. A wall clock ticks a second too fast. Ethan sets his keys down. Emma stands in the doorway, still wearing his coat, too big for her frame. He looks at her. The floor. The TV. The phone. Then finally the landline on the wall. He walks toward it. Reaches, stops. His hand hovers over the receiver, then slowly lowers. Ethan, you hungry again? Emma, a little. Ethan, let's fix that first. He decides not to call the cops just yet. Something feels off. Ethan's apartment. Kitchen. Later that night. The light above the stove flickers once, then steadies. A kettle hums softly. Rain taps the window like a lullaby. Emma sits at a small table, legs dangling from the too-tall chair. Her unicorn backpack is now draped on the chair beside her, drying by the heater. Ethan stands at the counter, stirring instant mac and cheese like it's gourmet. Ethan cheesy. Slightly overcooked. Definitely edible. 5-star dining in my book, Emma, smiling shyly. My chef at home wears a hat, Ethan. Well, I've got a baseball cap. That count? Emma giggles. It's the first sound of true joy she's made since they met. Ethan sets the bowl in front of her, pulls out a chipped juice glass, and fills it with water from the fridge jug. Ethan, careful. That bowl bites if you rush it. Emma, you cook for your daughter too? He nods slowly. Ethan. Every night. Emma. What's her name? Ethan, Nina. She's a little older than you. 8 going on 80, if you ask me. Footsteps. Nina. OS. Dad? From the hallway emerges Nina, barefoot, pajamas wrinkled, hair in a sleep mess. She pauses at the doorway, eyes narrowing at the unfamiliar face in her kitchen. Ethan. Hey, sweet pea. This is Emma. She needed a place to stay for a little while. Nina doesn't speak, just walks slowly, eyes scanning Emma. The bowl, the coat. Emma looks down at her plate, suddenly quiet again. Nina. She your student or something? Ethan. Something like that. Beat. Nina, I'm gonna go watch TV. She disappears back down the hall. Ethan sighs and sits across from Emma. For a moment, it's just the sound of chewing, the rain, and the distant hum of cartoons. Emma's eyes drift to the far wall, where a faded photo frame hangs crooked. It shows Ethan, younger, with a woman in hospital scrubs, and a tiny infant swaddled in pink. Emma points, softly. Emma, you look like a good daddy. Ethan freezes. A quiet ache settles behind his ribs. He leans forward, resting his elbows on the table. Ethan, I'm trying, kid. I really am. You look like a good daddy. Ethan's apartment. Morning light. Sunlight pushes through a gap in the curtain, drawing golden lines across the kitchen floor. Ethan leans against the wall, arms folded, watching Emma dip toast into her cocoa like she's done it 1,000 mornings in this kitchen. Nina sits nearby, backpack half-zipped, eyeing the guest carefully. She breaks the silence. Nina. You don't go to school? Emma. My school has gates. Big ones. They beep when you walk through. Ethan, softly intrigued. Security gates? Emma nods, swings her legs under the table. Emma. There's a guy named Harold who stands near the door and opens it when my driver honks. Ethan exchanges a quiet glance with Nina. Ethan. Do you know the driver's name? Emma thinks for a beat, then beams. Emma, Stanley. He smells like peppermints. He always plays the same song on the radio. Ethan grabs a pen and notepad from the drawer. Ethan. Do you remember the house? Emma. It has white walls and these really big bushes shaped like animals. There's a gate with gold on it. And Daddy's office has a red door. He jots it all down, slowly piecing together the mosaic. Nina. That sounds like the houses on Crown Hill. Ethan. Surprised. You've never even been near Crown Hill. Nina, I saw it on the school field trip. We passed them in the bus. One had a lion hedge and gold gate. Ethan pauses. His eyes drift toward the folded newspaper on the table. The real estate section, where Julian Thatcher's name is stamped across every other page. Ethan, to himself. Of course it is. He slowly stands and glances at Emma. Ethan. Emma. How'd you end up at that bus stop yesterday? She shrugs. Emma, I was in the car, then I wasn't. I think Stanley was yelling on the phone. Then he wasn't there. Ethan's jaw clenches. He suddenly realizes she wasn't just lost. She was forgotten. His gaze hardens as he folds the notepad, deep in thought. Ethan, I think I know where your house is. He realizes her estate is across town, an elite gated community. Ethan's apartment. Evening. Warm light. Quiet stillness fills the living room. Dishes are stacked in the drying rack. A single lamp casts a soft golden hue across the second-hand rug. Ethan sits on the worn-out sofa, laces half-tied, staring at the notepad of scribbled clues. Stanley. Red door, gold gate. Lion bushes. Nina lounges on the floor nearby, coloring. Her eyes keep drifting toward Emma, who's on the other side of the room playing with a battered old dollhouse that's been in the family since Nina was 3. Emma is quiet, focused, placing the small wooden figures carefully, in pairs. Nina, softly. She never makes them stand alone. Ethan looks up. Ethan. Nina in the dollhouse. She always puts them together, like they're scared to be by themselves. He watches Emma place a tiny mother next to the father figure. Then 2 kids in one bed, Ethan. Maybe she's just used to company, Nina. Maybe, but she looks sad, even when she smiles. Ethan glances at Emma again. She is smiling, but it's thin, practiced. A smile worn for adults, not made for joy. He leans back in his seat, eyes heavy with thought. Nina. Does she really not remember her house? Ethan, she remembers pieces, big ones, but not where it fits. Nina. She's like a puzzle, with the edge parts missing. Ethan smiles faintly at Nina's way of phrasing it, then nods. Ethan. That's a pretty good way to put it. Nina. She can stay, right? Ethan hesitates. That's not a promise he can make. Not yet, Ethan. We'll make sure she's okay first. That's what matters. He watches Emma pick up the toy family and gently set them around a tiny plastic dinner table. Her face is calm, but her hands tremble as she moves the figures. His gut twists. Ethan. V.O. She remembers what love looks like. She just doesn't know how to ask for it. He closes the notepad slowly, a decision forming in his chest. Ethan. Tomorrow, I think we pay that neighborhood a visit. He decides to find out what she's not saying. City streets. Next morning, cloudy but dry. The sky is a heavy quilt of gray. Wind carries yesterday's rain in the cracks of pavement and gutters. Ethan pedals an old borrowed bicycle, chain squeaking, front tires slightly wobbly. His janitor jacket flaps behind him like a flag of quiet rebellion. On the handlebars sits a crate, padded with a towel where Emma sits cross-legged like a porcelain passenger, hair tied in messy braids by Nina that morning. Every bump in the road jostles the crate, but she giggles. Emma, you sure this is safe? Ethan, not even a little. But it's the best I've got. She laughs again. It's lighter now, closer to real. They pass bus stops, closed cafes, and luxury cars idling at red lights. A man in a suit gives Ethan a look as he pedals past. Ethan doesn't notice. He's locked into the rhythm. One push, one breath, one choice at a time. Emma, are we going to my house? Ethan. We're going to see if it looks familiar. That's all. She nods, thoughtful. Her fingers clutch the edge of the crate as they pass under a stone bridge covered in ivy. They ride in silence for a long stretch. Then, Emma, you know, Daddy doesn't let me ride bikes, Ethan. Why's that? Emma, he says the driveway is too short. And it's bad for the uniform. Ethan glances at her. There's no resentment in her voice. Just observation, Ethan uniform? Emma, yeah. He always wears suits. Even at home, even when it's just me, Ethan's jaw tenses. Ethan. Some dads wear suits. Some wear old jeans. Emma. I think jeans are better. You can kneel in jeans. They reach the bottom of Crown Hill Boulevard, a street paved with silence and money. The hedges are manicured. The security gates buzz softly even when untouched. Ethan slows. He takes it all in, the lion-shaped bushes, the gold-trimmed iron. Emma's voice is barely a whisper now. Emma, can we go slower? She grips his hand. Tight. He presses the brakes, slowly. She grips his hand tighter and asks, Can we go slower? Crown Hill Estates. Gated entrance. Late morning. The gates stretch high, carved with initials in gold. JT. At the top, 2 sculpted lions guard the entrance, frozen mid-roar. Cameras swivel subtly overhead, scanning the street below. Ethan stands outside, holding Emma's hand. His borrowed bike is leaned awkwardly against a no trespassing sign. Emma stares through the bars. Emma. That's it. That's the one with the red door. Ethan follows her gaze. A mansion sits back from the road, 3 stories tall, white stone walls, wide columns, and a circular driveway hugging a fountain. A black car idles just inside the gate. A uniformed guard approaches from a nearby booth. Guard, gruff. Can I help you? Ethan, I think. This little girl might live here. The guard squints at Emma, then straightens. Guard. What's your name, sweetheart? Emma Thatcher. That changes everything. The guard lifts a walkie, speaks in low code. Within seconds, a second guard appears, this one younger and more aggressive. Younger guard. To Ethan. You with her? Ethan. She found me. I've been helping. Younger guard, you live around here? Ethan known younger guard. Step back from the gate, sir. Ethan does, calmly but alert. Emma's face has shifted. Her fingers twitch against Ethan's hand. Emma. Quietly. Why are they mad? Ethan. They're just being careful. A golf cart zips down the driveway. A butler in a suit hops out and rushes toward the gate. Butler. Miss Emma? Thank heavens. The guards open the gate. The butler crouches, arms out. Butler. Come, child. Your father's been worried sick. But Emma doesn't move. She inches closer to Ethan. Her tiny body presses into his leg. Emma, whispering. I don't want to go in yet. The butler looks confused. The guards stiffen. Ethan lowers to her level, eyes gentle. Ethan. It's okay. You're safe now. Emma's eyes shimmer. Emma. Can you come with me? The guards exchange a quick look. Younger guard. That's not going to happen. Ethan rises slowly, protective. Calm, Ethan. Then I'm not leaving until someone who cares comes to meet her. The girl hides behind him, whispering, I don't want to go in yet. Thatcher Mansion, Grand Foyer. Moments later, marble floors stretch endlessly beneath Emma's tiny shoes. Crystal chandeliers hang like frozen rain clouds. The air smells like furniture polish and distance. A sweeping staircase curls upward, guarded by 2 housekeepers in black uniforms. Neither smile. Emma stands just inside the door, soaked jacket still clinging to her. Her eyes dart to the gold-framed portrait of Julian Thatcher on the wall, stern, polished, untouchable. Behind her, Ethan lingers near the open door, still outside the threshold. The butler blocks him with a hand. Butler. Sir, I appreciate your concern, but we'll handle it from here. Ethan. She asked me to stay. I just want to make sure someone talks to her, not just Butler, interrupting. Mr. Thatcher is currently occupied. You'll understand. This is a delicate matter. Ethan glances past him. He sees servants whispering in the corridor. A chef peeks in and vanishes again. Emma's fingers twitch at her side. Her voice comes out small. "Emma? Can he come in for just a little?" The butler ignores her. He waves to the maid. "Butler Elena, take Miss Emma to her room. Have Nurse Clara check her temperature." A young maid appears, kneeling slightly. "Maid, Elena." "Miss Emma? This way, please." Emma looks back at Ethan, eyes glassy. "Emma, will I see you again?" Ethan gives her the softest nod. "Ethan, you know where the bus stop is." She tries to smile. It trembles and falls apart. She walks away. The sound of her small footsteps swallowed by the echo of marble. The butler closes the door with mechanical finality. No thank you. No handshake. Ethan stands alone on the porch of a palace. Behind the door, silence. Crown Hill Gate. Moments later, Ethan walks down the stone path slowly. His bike waits where he left it. A gust of wind kicks dust across the tires. He looks back once at the house. No one is watching, and yet, he's never felt more seen. The dad isn't allowed to meet her father. Thatcher Mansion, second-floor landing. Same day Emma is led through the marble hallway by Elena the maid, whose smile is stretched tight but never reaches her eyes. They pass oil portraits of ancestors in tuxedos. Polished floor-to-ceiling mirrors reflect a girl who doesn't seem to belong in the reflection. They reach a grand set of double doors. Her room. Elena. "Miss Emma, you may rest. Nurse Clara will check on you shortly." Emma doesn't move. From behind the wall, voices rise, muffled but tense. She turns her head toward the hall's other wing. Her father's study. Thatcher Mansion. Study. Continuous. Through the heavy doors, the angry voice of Julian Thatcher cuts through the air. "Julian, OS. You're telling me she was just out there? At a bus stop?" Butler, OS. "Sir, we believe the driver may have—" Julian, furious. "I trusted him. This is a PR disaster. A billionaire's daughter wandering the city like a stray." Butler, "She was found safe, sir. With a man who— Julian, I don't care who he is. Get him out of the narrative." Now, Emma's bedroom, same moment Emma, stands just inside her room. Her hand rests on the doorknob. Her eyes are fixed on the floor. She doesn't cry. She walks to the window, pulls back the velvet curtain. Crown Hill Street. Below Ethan stands on the sidewalk, straddling his bike, one hand shielding his eyes from the sun, looking up at the mansion like it's the moon, too far to reach. Emma's bedroom, continuous. Emma spots him, lifts her hand slowly. Waves. Street below. Continuous, Ethan sees her. He raises his hand, waves back. No words. Just the kind of smile you give when goodbye is the last thing you want to say. She presses, her hand flat against the window, then turns away. The girl peeks out the window and waves. He waves. Back. Industrial. Complex. Early morning. The fog hangs low, curling around chain-link fences and trash bins. Trucks rumble by in the background. Steam hisses from sewer grates. The world is waking up hard. Ethan unlocks the back door to Monroe Tower, the commercial building where he mops floors for barely enough. He moves with a heaviness, not from sleep, he barely got any, but from silence, the kind that sets in after saying goodbye to something your heart wasn't ready to let go of. Office lobby. Montage begins. Ethan pushes a janitor's cart across a spotless marble floor, sprays glass cleaner on windows, wiping until his reflection disappears, scrapes gum from under a conference table while executives argue on speakerphone overhead, fixes a flickering light bulb, face lit yellow, eyes dull, eats a crushed granola bar while crouched behind a supply closet door. Break room noon. He sits alone at a cracked plastic table, lunchbox unopened. He stares at the sandwich. It's the same one Emma liked. He closes the box, building side exit. Evening, he walks out, punching his time card on the wall. Another day, same wait. The sky is bruised orange. A bus hisses away in the distance. He walks toward the alley where his bike is chained, then stops. There, sitting on a milk crate, pink backpack slung over one shoulder, is Emma alone, wearing a different dress, hair brushed, knees swinging nervously. Emma. Hi, Ethan freezes. Ethan. Emma? She nods slowly. Her voice cracks as she speaks. Emma, I remembered the way back. His heart stumbles. He looks around, no one following her. No driver, no butler, no security, just this tiny person. In front of a chain-link fence, in a borrowed world. Ethan. Do they know you're here? Emma? They think I'm asleep. Beat. Emma. Conti D. Can I stay with you again? Ethan stares at her, torn between what's right and what feels right. He finds the girl waiting outside the next day. Ethan's apartment. Living room, night. The apartment is dim except for a lamp in the corner. Emma sits on the floor, cross-legged in Nina's pajamas. 2 sizes too big, sleeves rolled up. She's tracing shapes on the carpet with her finger. Ethan stands near the window, arms crossed, staring out into the street like it might give him an answer. He finally turns to her. Ethan, Emma. You can't just leave your house like that. She doesn't look up. Ethan, conted. People were probably scared. They didn't know where you were. Emma shrugs. Emma. No one came to tuck me in. Ethan. That doesn't mean they don't care. She looks up now. Her eyes are clear. Not angry, just honest. Emma. He doesn't hug me. That silences Ethan. Emma. Can't D. Not when I fall. Not when I win something. Not even when I cry. She folds her arms tightly around her knees. Emma. Conti D. He says I'm strong. But strong people still want hugs, right? Ethan slowly lowers himself onto the floor beside her. His back leans against the couch. Ethan. I think strong people need hugs the most. They just don't know how to ask. A pause. She leans her head gently onto his shoulder. Quiet. Heavy. Emma. You hug Nina like, all the time. Ethan. She's my world. Emma. Can I be part of that world for a little? Ethan doesn't answer immediately. His chest rises, slow and full. Ethan, you already are, kiddo. Nina's bedroom. Later, Nina is fast asleep. Emma lies beside her in a second blanket. Her eyes remain open, scanning the ceiling. Thinking. Ethan watches from the doorway, arms folded. Emma, softly. Can I come with you tomorrow? Ethan, to work? She nods. Ethan, you sure? Emma, I like mops. And, I like you. She asks if she can come with him again. City Park, late afternoon. Sun dappled. Laughter echoes across a sunlit park. The grass still damp from yesterday's rain. Children shriek, chasing pigeons. A breeze carries the smell of popcorn and summer sweat. Ethan walks alongside Emma, who's now holding a balloon animal shaped like a lion. She skips, arms swinging wide. Emma. You ever eat snow cones? Ethan, I've survived a few. Emma. What flavor? Ethan, blue. Always blue. Tastes like regret and frozen hope. Emma laughs so hard she snorts. Emma, you're weird. Ethan, I've been told. They pass a carousel, lights blinking softly in daylight. Emma's eyes widen. Emma, can we ride? Ethan hesitates, pulling out his wallet. One crumpled $5 bill. He nods. Montage. Emma twirls on a carousel horse, arms wide like she's flying. Ethan watches from the railing, eyes warm, for once not worried about the cost. He buys her a snow cone. Blue. She takes one bite and winces. He laughs and finishes it for her. She feeds ducks with stolen popcorn. He pushes her on a creaky swing, higher and higher until the world blurs. Park bench. Golden hour. They sit quietly now. The noise around them fades. She leans her head on his shoulder again. Emma, I wish time had a pause button. Ethan, it does. You just found it. Behind them, unseen, Nina approaches with her school bag, having just been dropped off from a friend's house. She stops, watches her father and the other girl. Together, laughing, her eyes narrow, not in anger, just confusion. The scene looks warm, too warm, and it doesn't include her. Her smile fades. She turns, quietly walking back toward the sidewalk before either of them sees her. Park, bench, continuous. Emma lifts her face to Ethan. Emma, can we come again tomorrow? Ethan looks down at her. Ethan, we'll see, kiddo. His daughter sees them from afar and smiles, then frowns. Corner grocery store. Morning Ethan pushes a small shopping cart through the tight aisles. Emma walks beside him, carrying a loaf of bread like it's a crown jewel. Clerk, Mrs. Henderson, eyeing Emma. New face? Ethan, friend of the family. Mrs. Henderson frowns, says nothing more. As they move past, two older women near the cereal aisle whisper, Woman, 1. That's Julian Thatcher's girl, isn't it? Woman 2. It was in the paper. She went missing last week. Ethan hears it. Keeps walking. Emma doesn't notice. She's too busy choosing between strawberry and grape jelly. Sidewalk outside grocery. Moments later. They exit, 2 bags in hand. Ethan is quiet now. Alert. He glances over his shoulder. A black car idles at the curb down the block. Tinted windows. He narrows his eyes. Apartment, living room. Later that day, Nina sits on the couch, arms crossed, watching Emma braid one of her dolls. Her face is unreadable. Nina, why doesn't she go home? Ethan sighs. It's not that simple. Nina doesn't push, but her silence is louder than shouting. Building stairwell, evening. Ethan climbs the steps, carrying 2 paper bags. His neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, is leaning on the railing. Mr. Alvarez, you the guy taking care of that Thatcher kid? Ethan freezes. Ethan word travels fast. Mr. Alvarez, not fast enough for the right people. Careful, man. They don't like when the poor get too close. Ethan's apartment. Night. Emma is coloring at the table. Nina's asleep in her room. A knock at the door. Then another. Louder. Ethan approaches. Heart already racing. Voice. O.S. Open up, sir. Police. Emma looks up. Wide-eyed, Ethan exhales. Slow, Ethan. It's okay. I'll handle it. He walks toward the door. Body calm. Soul on fire. Police show up at his house. Ethan's apartment. Night flashing red and blue lights dance across the faded curtains. Emma stands frozen near the couch, gripping the doll Nina gave her. Her eyes are wide, confused. Ethan opens the door slowly. 2 uniformed officers step in. One stands tall and unreadable. The other, younger, carries a notepad. Officer 1. Sir, we received a report of a missing child, Emma Thatcher. Is she here? Ethan. She came on her own. She was safe. Still is, Officer 2. That may be true, but you didn't report it. Ethan, because she didn't want me to, and I didn't want to send her back to a place she felt invisible. The officers exchange a glance. Officer 1. You understand how that sounds? Ethan. I understand how it feels. Behind them, Emma inches closer, voice trembling. Emma. I didn't run away. I ran. Toward. Officer. 2. Sweetheart, we know, but your father's been searching for you. We have to take you back now. Ethan crouches in front of her, heart in pieces. Ethan. It's okay, Emma. They're just doing their job. Emma. Will I see you again? His throat tightens. He wants to promise her the world. But he's never been a man who could offer more than honesty. Ethan. I hope so. She throws her arms around his neck, holds him with a kind of desperation no child should know. He doesn't move. Doesn't breathe, just holds her back until the officer gently pulls her away. Apartment building. Moments later, Emma is led to the back seat of the cruiser. She doesn't cry, just stares through the glass like a ghost leaving its favorite place. Ethan stands on the curb, rain starting again, gentle and cold. A hand slips into his. It's Nina, in her socks, eyes wide and scared. Nina, Dad. Did we do something wrong? He looks down at her, then up at the taillights as they disappear. Ethan. No, baby. We just did something good, and someone powerful didn't like it. His daughter asks, Did we do something wrong? TV screen, newsroom footage, morning. Local news anchor stares into the camera with false concern. Behind her, an image of Julian Thatcher shaking hands with a police chief. Anchor, VO. Billionaire philanthropist Julian Thatcher thanks law enforcement after the safe return of his daughter, Emma, who was reportedly found in the care of an unauthorized man with no family connection. Click. Ethan's apartment. Living room, same moment. Ethan turns. Off the TV. His jaw is set. On the table in front of him, an envelope. Inside, a printed legal notice from the Thatcher legal team. Words like manipulative behavior, custodial interference, and intent to exploit scream off the page. He runs a hand through his hair. Nina sits nearby, quiet, drawing angry little scribbles on a notepad. Nina. They made you look bad, Ethan. That's how it works, kiddo. Truth doesn't pay for headlines, but power does. Thatcher Mansion, Emma's room. Later that day, Emma sits at her vanity, wearing a pressed blue dress. Her hair is pulled back perfectly, not a strand out of place. Across the room, a nanny watches her with bored indifference. Emma, can I go outside? Nanny, not today, sweetie. Emma. Why? Nanny. Because your father says there's too much attention right now. Emma looks down at her folded hands. Emma. He didn't even ask if I was okay. Thatcher's private study. Same time, Julian Thatcher stands by a fireplace speaking sternly on the phone. Julian. We have to get ahead of this. That janitor? He saw opportunity. Took it. Beat. Julian. Conte D. I don't care what she said to him. Kids say anything when they feel ignored. He pauses. Listens. Sips from a glass of something expensive. Julian. If he talks to the press, we bury him. Quietly. Mansion backyard. Dusk. Emma stands near the hedge line, clutching a small toy from Ethan's apartment. A tiny plastic horse. Nina gave her. She glances around, then ducks under a gap in the bushes and slips out. City Street, night. Ethan walks toward his apartment, groceries in hand, head low. Then, he freezes. On his doorstep, hair tangled, dress dusty, cheeks flushed from running. Emma, Emma. I couldn't stay where love doesn't live. He drops the bag. Ethan. Emma, what did you do? Emma, I came home. The little girl runs away again. Ethan's apartment, night. The door closes softly behind them. Emma stands in the hallway, shoes muddy, breathing fast but steady. Her backpack hangs crookedly off one shoulder, the zipper broken. Ethan kneels down, checks her face, her hands. Ethan. Did anyone see you leave? Emma, I don't think so. I used the side gate, the one that beeps too quietly. Ethan. Emma, you can't just disappear like that. They'll think I took you again. Emma. Let them think whatever they want. Her voice isn't angry. It's calm, resigned, like someone who's stopped expecting anything from the people who should care most. Ethan exhales, presses his forehead to hers. Ethan. You're not wrong, but you're still just a kid. You shouldn't have to feel like this. Emma. Then don't make me go back. Kitchen. Later, Emma sits wrapped in a warm towel on a stool, eating a microwaved grilled cheese. Nina watches from the doorway, arms folded. Nina. She's gonna get you in trouble, Ethan. Yeah, probably. Nina. But you're not sending her back? Ethan looks at Emma, who hasn't looked up once since Nina entered the room. Ethan. Not until I know she's ready. A long pause. Then Nina walks over and places her blanket beside Emma's stool. Emma looks up, startled. Nina. You're not the only one who can run away. Emma stares, then smiles. The smallest one. Real. Fragile. Earned. Living room. Night. The rain taps against the window. Emma lies on the couch, curled beneath Nina's blanket, hugging a pillow. Ethan sits in the recliner nearby, wide awake. Emma. Mr. Ethan? Ethan, yeah? Emma. Can I tell you something? Ethan. Anything. A beat. Emma. I feel safe here. His eyes sting, but he doesn't let it show. He just nods. Slowly, Ethan. Then I guess we better keep you safe a little longer, she says. I feel safe here. Ethan's apartment. Kitchen. Morning. Sunlight slants in through the window blinds, cutting golden stripes across the tiny kitchen table. There's soft jazz playing from a radio. Faint static, but it gives the room a heartbeat. Emma stands on a chair beside Ethan, helping stir scrambled eggs. She wears Nina's apron, 2 sizes too big, the ties knotted around her waist twice. Ethan. Careful. Stir slow. Eggs got feelings too. Emma. Like your mop? Ethan, exactly. Treat it with respect, or it'll slap back. Emma laughs, genuine and messy. She spills a bit, and they both pretend it's intentional. Living room. Later, Nina sits on the floor braiding Emma's hair, trying not to seem like she's enjoying it. Emma holds still, eyes closed like she's pretending to be in a salon. Nina. If you move again, I'll start over. Emma. You said that 10 braids ago. Nina, and I meant it all 10 times. Ethan watches them from the kitchen, coffee in hand. He doesn't speak. He just watches. 2 girls who've known each other only days, behaving like sisters. He never imagined this kind of peace. Certainly not in this small space. Not with 2 bowls, 1 couch, and too many bills. But somehow, it's enough. Hall closet. Shortly after, Ethan pulls out an old folded fort blanket, tacks it between the backs of 2 chairs and the couch arm. Nina and Emma crawl inside, bringing flashlights and 2 juice boxes. Inside, muffled giggles echo. Blanket fort. Later, Emma lays on her back, flashlight shining upward like a fake moon. Emma. You think your dad gets tired? Nina, of what? Emma. Of doing everything alone. A pause. Nina. He's never alone. He just forgets that sometimes. Emma turns, looks toward the living room where Ethan is quietly washing dishes, humming something Nina's never heard before. Emma. Softly. This feels like home. Nina doesn't reply. She just nods. She whispers, This feels like home. Grocery store bulletin board. Morning. Ethan freezes mid-step. On the corkboard near the door, tacked between job listings and lost pet flyers, a bright missing person poster. Emma Thatcher, age 6. Reward for information. Contact Julian Thatcher's office. Ethan studies it. Her school photo. Her forced smile. The text reads like a bounty notice, not a call for help. Ethan, V.O. Funny how the rich never say thank you. They just write reward checks and erase the rest. Flashback. Thatcher foyer. Night. Days earlier. Emma stands small in the middle of the mansion. Her coat is wet. Her hands tremble. The butler takes her bag like she's luggage. Julian Thatcher walks into the frame. He doesn't kneel. Doesn't hug. Julian, don't scare me like that again. Understand? She nods, barely moving. Julian, Conti D. We'll upgrade security. He walks off before she can say a word. Back to present. Ethan's apartment. Evening. Emma sits on the floor, slowly turning the same missing poster over in her hands. She found it in Ethan's jacket pocket. Emma, I don't look happy in this. Ethan doesn't answer. He's leaning against the door frame, arms crossed, pain etched deep. Emma, Conti D. Why'd they lie? Why'd they say I was missing when I was right here? Ethan. Because people like him can't admit they didn't notice until someone else did. She sets the poster down, eyes brimming. Emma. You're not going to make me go back, are you? Ethan. Emma. He doesn't finish. She walks over, places her small hand on his. Emma, please. Just a little longer. I'm not ready to disappear again. Ethan kneels, looks her in the eyes. Ethan. You're not disappearing. Not here. She throws her arms around him. Quiet. Desperate. He holds her tighter than he ever held pain. Nina's room. Night. Emma lies curled beside Nina, who's already asleep. Between them rests a flashlight and a drawing. The three of them, hand in hand, under a roof labeled Home. She begs him not to send her back. Ethan's apartment. Kitchen table. Morning. Ethan nurses a mug of coffee, staring out the window. He hasn't shaved. His uniform shirt is still unbuttoned. The radio murmurs softly in the background. A slow song about goodbye. The sound of crayons scratching pulls his attention. At the table, Nina is hunched over a folded piece of paper. Emma sits beside her, silent, watching. Ethan. What are you two plotting? Nina, it's not a plot. It's a letter. Ethan. To who? Nina, her dad. Emma. Not that dad. Nina hands him the folded page. Front cover. A house, crooked but smiling. 3 stick figures, 1 tall, 2 small. Above it, in messy red crayon, it reads, My Real Family. He opens it. Inside, in wobbling lines, Dear Mr. Ethan, thank you for being nice, for sharing food, for letting me sleep near people who love. You didn't buy me toys or give me a big room, but you gave me something I never got before. Space to be little. Ethan stares at the words. His hands don't move. Nina nudges him gently. Nina. She wrote it herself. I just helped with spelling. Emma stands beside him now, chin tilted up, unsure if she did too much. Or just enough. Emma. You don't have to keep it. I just wanted you to know. Ethan kneels down, slowly. His voice is a whisper. Ethan. You gave me something I didn't think I'd get again. Either. She wraps her arms around him. Tight. Nina steps forward and wraps her arms around them both. Wordless. Emma. You're the only family I know. The crayon drawing falls from Ethan's hand, fluttering to the floor beside their feet. She hugs them both and says, You're the only family I know. City sidewalk, Sunday afternoon. Sun-dappled a row of pop-up food stands buzz with families and foot traffic. Smells of grilled corn and cinnamon fill the air. Buskers play jazz on worn-out saxophones. Ethan, in his faded hoodie, walks alongside Emma and Nina, each with a small cup of melting ice cream. Emma's holding both of their hands. They're laughing about something Nina said. Something that made Emma snort through her nose, which makes them laugh even harder. Unaware of the world watching them. Across the street. Moments later. A young woman, early 20s, phone in hand, stops in her tracks. She lowers her coffee, tilts her head. Woman. V.O. That's her. That's that billionaire's daughter from the news. But she doesn't lift the phone for scandal. She lifts it for wonder. Click, one photo. Unposed, unfiltered. 3 people walking. No security, no press, just joy. A man in a janitor's hoodie. 2 little girls, mismatched in age but not in laughter. The littlest one looking up at him like he hung the stars. Ethan's apartment. Later that night, Ethan is washing dishes. Nina is finishing homework. Emma is coloring again. He's humming to himself, something soft and almost like a lullaby, when his old flip phone buzzes on the counter. Unknown number. Message. Is this you? You're going viral. Attached, the photo. Ethan stares at it, confused. Then more texts. Then Nina's tablet dings. Nina, Dad. This picture is everywhere. It's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. People are talking about us, Ethan. What kind of talk? Nina scrolls. Her face softens. Nina, the good kind. They're calling you her real dad. He takes the phone, sees the caption, "Billionaire's daughter smiles for the first time in public, with someone who isn't her father." Emma looks up. Emma, is that bad? Ethan looks at the photo again. 3 ordinary people making the kind of love that doesn't need money, Ethan. No, honey. He smiles slowly. Ethan, Conti D. It's the truest thing they've ever said. The photo spreads online like wildfire. Newsroom, control room. Morning screens flash with the now viral photo. Hosts chatter over it, the caption blown up behind them. Rich in money, poor in presence? Anchor. VO. A heartwarming image has the internet divided. Was a billionaire's daughter really safer with a janitor than her own father? Thatcher mansion, private office. Same time, Julian. Thatcher stands in front of a wide TV mounted on the wall. His jaw is tight. His assistant, Miriam, nervously fidgets with a clipboard. TV, host, VO. And this begs the question, how does a man with everything miss the one thing a child really needs? Julian turns off the TV with a snap of the remote. Julian, this is character assassination. Miriam, it's trending across all platforms. Every blog, every parenting podcast, people are, Julian, irritated, siding with a janitor. Miriam, some of them are calling it neglect. Others are praising the girl's courage. Julian, I don't care what they call it. I care about what this does to my investors. A beat Julian, Conti D. Get our PR team on every morning show. Reclaim the narrative. He steps closer to the window, gazing down on the driveway like a man peering into a world that's slipping out from under him. Julian, Conti D. And find that janitor. Ethan's apartment, living room. Night. Ethan scrolls slowly through Nina's tablet. Post after post. Comments. She looks so loved here. Not all family is blood. Shame on Julian Thatcher. Emma sits beside him, quietly eating cereal. She doesn't ask what he's reading. Nina walks in from the hallway. Nina, someone parked a black SUV down the street. Same one as before. Ethan shuts the tablet. His eyes sharpen. Julian's office. Continuous. Julian stares at a newspaper headline. The girl who ran toward love. His expression curdles. Julian. Let's clean this up. The billionaire demands a PR cleanup. Find that janitor. Neutral meeting room, Midtown office, late. Afternoon, a sterile conference room. Glass walls. Steel chairs. Not a single personal item in sight. The kind of place where deals get made, not hearts understood. Ethan sits at one end of the table, his work boots scuffed. His hands clasped, fingers tight. Across from him, Julian Thatcher. Flawless suit, silver watch, and an expression curated for control. Miriam, the assistant, stands silently in the corner with a manila envelope tucked under her arm. Julian, first. Let's make something clear. I don't make a habit of meeting janitors, but this situation is unique. Ethan didn't come here for manners. Julian breathes through his nose, then speaks. Julian, Emma came back to you. Again. That's not nothing. Ethan. She didn't come back. She ran toward comfort. Toward someone who listened. Julian stiffens. Julian. I'm not here to argue who's more emotionally available. I'm here to contain damage. He signals to Miriam, who steps forward and places the envelope on the table, slides it across. Julian, Conti D. A settlement. To thank you for not making this mess worse. Ethan stares at the envelope. Doesn't touch it. Ethan. That's what she is to you? A mess, Julian? No, she's my daughter. But that doesn't mean I owe the world access to her, Ethan. You don't owe the world anything. Beat, Ethan, Contadi, but you owe her everything. Julian leans back, unreadable. Julian, what do you want? Ethan, nothing in that envelope. Beat Ethan. Conti D. I want her to have space to be a child, not an asset, not a headline, just a kid with scraped knees and messy drawings on the fridge. Julian is quiet. Ethan slides the envelope back across the table. Untouched. Ethan. Conti D. She doesn't need your money. Beat. Ethan. Conti D. She just needs love. Julian glances at the envelope. For once, the room feels too cold even for him. He refuses the money, says, she just needs love. Thatcher Mansion. Emma's bedroom. Night. The room glows softly. Not with gold, not with chandeliers, but from a single nightlight shaped like a moon. Emma sleeps soundly, a stuffed bear in her arms, the crayon drawing of Ethan and Nina tucked beneath her pillow. Julian Thatcher stands in the doorway, silent. For the first time in years, he lingers. His eyes scan the untouched bookshelf, the pristine toys, the dress rack organized by a nanny. All the things he's bought her that she's never truly used. Flashback. Boardroom. A year ago, Julian stands at the head of a glass table, commanding attention. Screens behind him display charts, projections, rising lines. People nod. Applaud. Back to present. Emma's room. He steps inside. Slowly, almost unsure, he kneels beside her bed, brushes a loose strand of hair from her forehead. She stirs slightly, mumbling in her sleep. Emma, in sleep. Daddy, can we get pancakes? Julian smiles faintly. Emma, still dreaming. Not you, the nice one. His smile fades. He sits on the edge of her bed. Quiet? Shaken? Ethan's apartment. Same night, Ethan sits on the floor by the couch, assembling an old toy from leftover parts for Nina. His hands are rough. The light is dim, but the moment is full. Knock at the door. He opens it slowly. It's Julian. No security, no entourage. Just him, Julian. She talks about you, even when she sleeps. Ethan says nothing. Julian, Conti D. She calls you Dad. Beat. Julian, Conti D. When she dreams. Ethan steps aside, not as an invitation, but a challenge. Julian looks around. Small apartment. Worn couch, faint jazz in the background, and somehow it feels warmer than his entire mansion. He finally speaks again. Julian, you taught me more than I ever knew. He says, she calls you Dad when she dreams. Family courtroom, mid-morning, rows of cold wooden benches. Echoes of coughs and whispers bounce off the stone walls. At the front, a female judge sits beneath the seal of the court, flipping through paperwork, her expression unreadable. To one side sits Julian Thatcher, polished and prepared, flanked by two attorneys in sleek suits. His tie is perfect, his posture stiff, but his eyes flicker. To the other, Ethan, seated alone at the respondent's table. He wears a thrift store dress shirt, slightly wrinkled. No lawyer. Just his hands folded, resting on a manila folder of photos, drawings, and a letter written in crayon. In the gallery, reporters, parents, silent murmurs of curiosity. Judge Mr. Thatcher, your motion. Julian's attorney. Your Honor, my client seeks full legal custody of Emma Thatcher. He believes the respondent, Mr. Ethan Marshall, knowingly withheld the child and interfered with custodial authority. Ethan's jaw tenses. Ethan, I didn't keep her. I cared for her. Judge Mr. Marshall, you'll have your chance. The attorney continues. Julian's attorney. Additionally, we believe the viral media exposure of Emma in Mr. Marshall's care has led to unnecessary public scrutiny and emotional harm. Ethan opens his folder, slowly removes a folded drawing. He stands. Ethan. She wasn't harmed. She was heard. He approaches the bench, extending the drawing. The judge takes it, unfolds it. It's the crayon letter. You don't need money to raise a kid. You just need music, love, and time. Silence falls over the room. Then, movement near the back. Emma, seated beside a court-appointed child advocate, stands up. Everyone turns. Emma, voice shaking. I don't want to go back with him. Julian, Emma, shouting now. I choose him. I choose Mr. Ethan. Julian goes pale. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. The judge raises her hand. Judge. Order in the court. Emma clutches her drawing and runs to Ethan's side, wrapping her arms around his waist. Ethan places a hand on her shoulder, steady. The judge exhales. Slow, Judge. Then I think we need to hear from the child directly. The little girl yells, I choose him, in open court. Courtroom, continuous. The gavel slams down. Silence. The judge removes her glasses and rubs her temples. The tension in the room is heavy, so heavy it hushes the reporters and lawyers alike. Judge, Miss Thatcher. Would you be willing to speak to the court? Emma, quietly. Yes, ma'am. The judge nods toward the court advocate, who escorts Emma to a wooden chair near the bench. It's too big for her. Her legs dangle. Judge. You can just speak to me, sweetheart. No pressure. Emma clutches the crayon letter, folded tight in her lap. Judge, Cantide. Tell me, what made you run away? Emma swallows. Emma. I didn't run away. I ran to someone. The courtroom is still Emma, Cantide. Mr. Ethan didn't take me. I found him. He shared his sandwich. He made me laugh. He tucked me in and waited outside the bathroom when I was scared. She turns and looks directly at Julian. Emma, Cantide. You're my dad, but you didn't see me. Julian's face shifts. One corner of his mouth twitches, but no words come. Emma turns back to the judge. Emma, Cantide. He found me when you didn't even notice I was gone. The judge leans back slowly. Her face is unreadable, but her fingers tighten around the edge of the bench. She closes the file on her desk. Judge, this is not a typical custody matter, and I won't make a rushed decision in front of a crowd. She glances toward Julian's legal team, then at Ethan, and finally at Emma. Judge, Cantide. I'll take this under consideration and render a temporary decision within 48 hours. Until then, Emma will remain under supervised neutral care. Emma's face falls. Emma, but can I still talk to him? The judge looks at Ethan. He doesn't speak, just nods gently. Judge, yes, sweetheart. We won't silence your voice now. She says, he found me when you didn't even notice I was gone. Hillside Cemetery. Late afternoon. Clouds gather softly over a wind-brushed hill. Long blades of grass bow to the breeze, bending around the worn gravestones. Ethan stands still, hands in his jacket pockets. The cuffs are frayed. His eyes are on a modest gray stone, tucked near a tree where the sun still tries to shine. The engraving is simple. Clara Marshall, beloved wife, mother, and music teacher. 1986. 2016. Who kneels slowly, the way a man does when he hasn't allowed himself to kneel in a long time. He sets down a single yellow flower, hand-picked from the field. Ethan. Hey, Clara beat Ethan. Caunted. I've got 2 girls now. One came in through the front door. The other just kind of walked into my life when I wasn't looking. His voice cracks. Barely. Ethan. Cantide. And God help me, I love them both. He wipes his nose, sniffling hard to swallow the emotion. Ethan. Cantide. I never thought I'd feel useful again. You took the music with you when you left. But they brought it back, not in notes or melodies, but in noise, laughter, crayon letters, midnight cereal. He chuckles softly. Ethan. Cantide. You'd like her, Clara. She's brave in that quiet kind of way. Like you were. Footsteps approach behind him. Nina, hands tucked in her jacket, kneels beside him without a word. She places a drawing in a plastic sleeve next to the flower. A stick figure family under a crooked rainbow. 2 dads, 2 girls. Nina. She made it for Mom. Said she wanted her to know. Ethan blinks, caught off guard. Nina. Conti D. She said you were her safe person. That you fixed something broken in her. She slips her hand into his. Nina. Conti D. She'd be proud of you, Dad. Ethan exhales through the weight in his chest. For the first time in years, the silence around the grave doesn't feel empty. It feels full. His daughter quietly holds his hand, saying, "She'd be proud of you." Newsroom. Studio broadcast. Day the anchor leans toward the camera. The chyron reads, "The janitor who gave a billionaire's daughter her first hug." Encore tonight. A story that's sparking outrage and admiration alike. While billionaire Julian Thatcher faces criticism for emotional neglect, the internet's attention has shifted to a man without a suit, without status, but not without heart. Cut 2. A montage of the now viral photo, court sketches, and a snippet of Emma's courtroom statement. Emma, V.O. He found me when no one even noticed I was gone. Thatcher, corporate boardroom. Same time, Julian. Stares down a long conference table. Several executives whisper, avoiding eye contact. Board member. Sir, 3 major partners have pulled back. 2 ad campaigns were frozen after the story aired. Julian. This is a child custody matter, not a business liability. PR consultant. Then explain the billboard outside 5th and Oak Street billboard. Dye a massive sign. Love doesn't need a last name. Let Emma stay Ethan's apartment. Night. The couch is cluttered with drawings, mismatched socks, and 2 sleeping girls huddled under the same blanket. Ethan sits at the kitchen table, phone in hand, stunned. Email notifications. You've received a $500 donation. Someone wants to support your home. A foundation has added you to their feature list for stories of parental courage. He opens one message. No subject line. Just, "You're doing what some of us never could. Don't stop." Coffee shop. Next morning a barista hands Ethan a coffee. Refuses his money. Barista already paid for. Said it's for the dad with the brave heart. Ethan blinks. Overwhelmed Ethan. I didn't ask for any of this. The barista smiles. Barista. That's probably why you deserve it. Thatcher Mansion. Office. Night. Julian sits alone, scrolling through hate mail and public opinion polls. Headline: Millions rally behind janitor after courtroom truth shocks nation. He slams the laptop shut. His daughter had already chosen. Now the world was choosing too. Donations start pouring in for him. Anonymously. Monroe Tower, maintenance, office. Early morning fluorescent lights buzz overhead. The janitor's locker room smells like bleach and tired dreams. A few co-workers nod as Ethan walks in. Some glance away. Others offer silent nods of respect. On the wall, a notice board pinned with printouts of the news article featuring Ethan and Emma. Someone has scribbled in pen. He did more than mop floors. He made the world look up. Ethan pulls off his hoodie and opens his locker. Frank, the supervisor, steps in behind him. Frank, boss wants to see you. Upstairs. Building manager's office. Moments later, Mr. Dyer, a man in his 60s with a pressed shirt and nervous fingers, doesn't make eye contact as Ethan enters. Mr. Dyer. Take a seat. Ethan doesn't. Ethan. Let's just get to it. Mr. Dyer. Corporate thinks your situation is a distraction. The viral stuff. Cameras showing up. It's not good optics. Ethan. I mop floors, not run press conferences. Mr. Dyer. That's not how they see it. He slides an envelope across the desk. Mr. Dyer, Cont D. 2 weeks severance. No references. Ethan doesn't touch the envelope. Ethan, I saved a child. I gave her a safe place. And that's the reason you're letting me go? Mr. Dyer. The building has an image to uphold. Ethan stares. Ethan. You mean one that's clean on the outside and hollow on the inside? Silence. Ethan walks out. Doesn't take the envelope. Ethan's apartment. Later, Ethan sits at the table, head bowed. Nina places her hand on his shoulder. Emma sits across from him, quiet but worried. A phone buzzes. He answers without checking the number. Woman, V.O. Mr. Marshall? Ethan, yes. Woman, V.O. You don't know me, but I run a community arts program on the East Side. We saw your story. We saw the way that little girl smiled around you. Beat, woman, Conti D. We're looking for someone just like you. Are you interested? Ethan blinks. A tear falls silently. Ethan, I might be. A new opportunity arises from someone watching the viral video. Community Arts Center. Basement room, late afternoon, dust. Floats like glitter in the sunbeams cutting through small windows. Old easels, boxes of paint, stacked chairs. And at the far end, half covered with a tarp, a grand piano. Ethan walks slowly around the space. It's quiet. Forgotten. Sacred. MS. Loretta, mid-60s, warm eyes and denim apron, walks beside him. MS. Loretta. This used to be our heartbeat. We haven't had someone to bring it back. She pulls off the tarp, revealing the aged but beautiful piano. Wood faded, but keys waiting. MS. Loretta, Conti D. You said you used to teach, Ethan. Long time ago, before Bills started singing louder than the keys. She smiles, sensing the weight behind the humor. S. Loretta. Maybe it's time for the music to win one. She leaves him alone with it. Same. Moments later, Ethan brushes his fingers across the ivory. They tremble slightly, like they're asking for permission. He sits, closes his eyes, plays. A haunting, gentle melody begins, raw and unpolished at first, then growing fuller, richer. His body sways with each note like he's shedding years of silence. Flashback, apartment. Years ago. A younger Ethan sits at this same piano, little Nina crawling across the floor, babbling to the notes. His wife, alive and glowing, leans against the doorframe, mouthing along to the lullaby. Back to present. Basement. Tears roll down Ethan's cheek as he continues to play. Unseen. At the door. Emma stands, backpack slung over her shoulder. She's frozen, eyes wide. Her lip trembles. A single tear drops. She doesn't say anything. She just listens. Emma secretly hears him play and tears up. Community Arts Center. Classroom. Later that evening. The fluorescent lights hum above a dozen kids scribbling, painting, laughing. Emma sits alone at the back, not talking. Her tongue pokes out slightly as she concentrates. In front of her, a sketch pad, charcoal pencil smudging her fingers. Across the room, Ethan finishes showing another child how to hold a brush. He looks up just in time to see Emma pull her arm over the page, hiding it when he glances her way. She pretends to yawn. Emma. I'm just doodling. Nothing special. Ethan's apartment. Night. Ethan pulls off his jacket, tired but peaceful. Something falls from the inside pocket. A folded piece of paper, carefully creased. He kneels and picks it up, unfolds it slowly, and stops breathing. It's a perfect sketch, done in pencil, soft and shadowed. Him. Sitting at the piano, head down, hands on keys. The expression on his face captured with gentle detail. Sorrow, hope, grace, but he's not alone. In the background, faintly, two little girls drawn in, sitting on a crate and a stack of books, listening with wide eyes. Emma and Nina, and beneath it, in tiny handwriting, home isn't walls. It's who waits inside. His chest tightens. He lowers to the floor. One hand covers his mouth. The other clutches the drawing. It's the first time in years he feels like someone truly saw him. Ethan finds the sketch tucked in his jacket, with one line written underneath. Home isn't walls. It's who waits inside. Ethan's apartment next morning. Sunlight spills onto the table where Emma and Nina eat cereal, giggling over a silly drawing Emma made of a flying spaghetti monster. Ethan, in a hoodie and socks, sips coffee with a faint smile. A rare morning of peace. A knock breaks the moment. He opens the door. A man in a blazer, holding a clipboard. Man Ethan Marshall? Ethan nods cautiously. Man, Conti D. You've been served. He hands Ethan a sealed envelope and walks away without another word. Ethan stands frozen, envelope in hand. Kitchen. Minutes later, Ethan stares at the open document spread across the table. Emma watches him, silent now. He scans phrases aloud, barely breathing. Ethan. Petition for emergency custody. Father, Anthony Caldwell. Return of minor requested within 72 hours. His voice cracks. Nina puts a hand on his arm. Nina, Dad? Ethan, quietly. They're trying to take her back. Emma lowers her head, tears welling. Emma, I knew this would happen. I'm sorry. Ethan. No. Don't say that. He kneels beside her chair. Ethan, Conti. Emma, you are not a mistake. You are not a burden. She starts to cry. Emma, he never even looked for me. He only wants me now because everyone's watching. Ethan, then we'll fight. If it comes to that, I'll fight. Emma hugs him tightly, burying her face in his shoulder. Ethan's room. Night. The documents sit on the nightstand like a ticking clock. Ethan stares at the ceiling, wide awake, his jaw clenched, his heart breaking. Ethan realizes Emma may be taken from him. And he's powerless. Caldwell Estate. Gated driveway. Day rain. Drizzles down as Ethan stands outside a massive black gate. Beyond it, the sprawling Caldwell mansion. Pristine stone walls, manicured hedges, luxury cars parked out front. He buzzes the intercom. A cold voice answers. Security voice. Name? Ethan Marshall. I'm here about Emma. The gate clicks. Caldwell Mansion. Study. Moments later, Ethan sits in an armchair that feels like it costs more than his entire apartment. The room is all mahogany, leather, and silence. Then the door opens. Anthony Caldwell enters, early 50s. Tall gray temples, a tailored suit, and a jaw carved from pride. Caldwell, let's make this quick. Ethan, why now? Caldwell pours himself scotch. Caldwell, because she's mine. And because people talk. You wouldn't understand PR, Ethan. She's not a press release. She's a child. She's hurting. Caldwell sits across from him, smug. Caldwell. She ran off. Lived in God knows what conditions. And you, some broke art teacher, think you're fit to decide what's best? Ethan's voice drops, calm, controlled. Ethan. I don't have a mansion. I don't have staff. But I've seen her laugh, sleep soundly, feel safe. Caldwell's eyes narrow. Caldwell. This isn't about you, Ethan. No, it never is. That's the problem. Ethan stands. Ethan, Conti D. You may have money, but I have her trust, and I'll do whatever it takes to keep her from going back to a house that feels like a prison. He walks to the door. Caldwell. She's mine. That's the law, Ethan, without turning. We'll see what the judge says. Ethan's car, parked outside, moments later. Ethan sits in the driver's seat, hands gripping the wheel, shaking, not with fear, with determination. Ethan leaves knowing this man doesn't care about Emma, only control. Community center, evening. The room is dimly lit but buzzing. Folding chairs circle the center of the room. Familiar faces start to appear. Mrs. Delaney, the elderly widow whose husband Ethan helped bury Sam, the mechanic who once got a free mural for his son's birthday. Nina's school principal. The cafe owner, wiping flour off her apron. Two of Ethan's former students, now young adults. All of them, here for him. Nina, they all came. Dad. For us. Emma, quietly. For you. Ethan stands before them, papers in hand. The custody notice, the legal fees, the deadline. Ethan. I never expected this. I'm not good at asking for help. But I need it. Emma needs it. Silence. Then Mrs. Delaney stands. Mrs. Delaney. You gave my husband dignity when we had none left. Now it's our turn. She pulls out a checkbook. Others follow. Sam. I've got a cousin who's a family lawyer. Cafe owner. I'm hosting a fundraiser. Kids can sell paintings. You'll have your fees. Ethan looks stunned. Emotional. Ethan. I don't know what to say. Young man, former student. You taught us what home meant. We're just returning the lesson. Ethan's apartment. Later. The table is filled with donated envelopes, hand-drawn cards, notes from kids, and small bills tucked into baskets. Emma watches from the couch, teary. Emma, why are they helping? Ethan. Because kindness echoes. Caldwell. Law office. Same night. Caldwell opens his inbox to see an alert. Community rally for local father gains media attention. He sneers. Caldwell. So it's going to be a fight. A courtroom war is coming. But Ethan is no longer alone. Family courtroom, morning wooden benches, polished floors. A quiet tension fills the air. Ethan walks in wearing his only suit, slightly wrinkled, nerves showing. Beside him, his pro bono lawyer, mid-30s, kind but young. Across the aisle, Caldwell, pristine in a navy suit, flanked by three sharp-suited attorneys. Emma isn't present. Only her voice will be represented through testimony. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, enters. Judge. Let's begin. Courtroom. Later, Caldwell's lawyer stands, cold and rehearsed. Caldwell's lawyer. Mr. Marshall is an unemployed art teacher with no stable income, no permanent housing, and no legal relationship to the child, whereas Mr. Caldwell is the biological father, financially secure, and seeking to do what is best. Ethan flinches. Courtroom. Ethan on standathan sits on the witness stand. Ethan, she wasn't just lost. She was abandoned, scared. She didn't trust anyone. But over time, she started to laugh, to draw again, to sleep. I don't have much, but I gave her peace, and I won't stop. His voice breaks slightly. The courtroom is still. Courtroom, hallway. Braketon steps out for air. Nina stands nearby. Nina. You're doing good, Dad. Really good. He forces a weak smile. Ethan. It's not just about me. It's about whether love means more than a last name. Caldwell's office. Same day, Caldwell takes a call. Caldwell. I want this done. Quietly. Persuasively. He glances at a folder labeled School Records, Emma Marshall, Custody Rebuttal. Ethan's love is clear, but the system favors power, and it shows. Family courtroom. Later that day, the judge scans a file, frowning. Judge. According to the preliminary agreement, the child was not scheduled to testify. Ethan's lawyer glances behind. Lawyer, to Ethan, whispering. She showed up, said she wants to speak. Ethan's eyes widen. Emma stands in the doorway, nervously holding Nina's hand. Judge. Step forward. Courtroom. Witness, Emma climbs onto the chair. The microphone is too tall. A bailiff adjusts it. Judge, full name, please? Emma Caldwell. But I want to be Emma Marshall. A gasp runs through the crowd. Caldwell stiffens. Judge. Why are you here, Emma? Emma fidgets, then takes a deep breath. Emma. Because I was lost. Not just on the street, in here, points to her chest. And Ethan found me. Not like a lost thing, like a person. He didn't ask for anything back, he just stayed. She glances at Caldwell. Emma. Conti D. He made me feel like I mattered even when I broke things. Even when I had nightmares. Even when I didn't talk for days. A tear runs down her cheek. Emma. Conti D. He never left. So I won't either. The courtroom is silent. The judge leans forward, eyes softening. Caldwell finally looks. Rattled courtroom. Ethan's bench. Ethan blinks rapidly, holding back tears. Nina squeezes his hand. Nina, you let her grow roots. Dad. The judge's face softens, and Caldwell looks shaken for the first time. Courthouse parking garage. Evening, faint echoes of footsteps on concrete. Ethan walks slowly toward his car, Emma's testimony still echoing in his heart. From the shadows, Caldwell steps out, alone. No lawyers, no assistants. Caldwell. You're not a fool, Mr. Marshall. You know how this ends. Ethan. If you're about to say, with money, save your breath. Caldwell pulls out a thin envelope. Caldwell. Enough to clear your debts. Pay rent for a year. Maybe even reopen that sad little art program of yours. All you have to do is walk away. Ethan stares at the envelope. Doesn't take it. Caldwell. Conti D. This isn't a threat. It's a lifeline. You've done your part. Let her go home. Ethan. She is home. Caldwell's jaw tenses. Caldwell. You're clinging to something fragile. That girl is my daughter. She carries my name, my legacy. You're a detour in her life, a temporary phase. Ethan finally takes the envelope and rips it cleanly in half. Ethan. Funny thing about detours. Sometimes they're the only way to get where you were meant to be. He drops the halves at Caldwell's feet, walks away, Ethan's apartment. Night. Ethan enters quietly. Emma is asleep on the couch, hugging a worn sketchbook. Nina looks up from the kitchen. Nina. He tried something, didn't he? Ethan, he did. And I gave him nothing. Ethan walks out, but not before dropping a line that leaves Caldwell speechless. Caldwell's law firm. Next morning. Rain taps against the tinted windows. Inside a high-rise conference room, Caldwell sits with his lead attorney, Mrs. Drayton, 50s, sharp as razors. Stacks of custody law books and digital files glow on screens. Drayton. There's a clause in the emergency custody statute. If a biological parent can prove the child was endangered, neglected, even emotionally, during her absence, he can claim emergency reclaim custody without consent from the child. Caldwell. Even after her little speech in court? Drayton, emotion doesn't matter here. Paper does. If we file by end of day, the judge must review it. Caldwell smiles slightly. Ethan's apartment. Same time, Emma draws on the floor beside Ethan's bed. She sketches herself, Ethan, and Nina. A family. Nina peeks over her shoulder. Nina. You gave yourself wings? Emma? Yeah, because that's how I feel now. Courthouse. Legal clerk's office. Late. Afternoon. Drayton hands over a signed form and an affidavit. The legal clerk reads, Clerk. You're alleging emotional endangerment? Drayton. We're not alleging. We're requesting investigation. Stamp. The form is officially logged. Ethan's apartment. Night door knock. Ethan opens it to see a child services officer with papers. Officer. Mr. Marshall. There's been a filing. Emma must be remanded to neutral custody until the court reviews the petition. Emma hears. Her sketchbook falls. Emma. Teary. Am I in trouble? A single signature threatens to undo everything Ethan and Emma have built. Temporary foster care center. Nita, sterile room with pale walls. A narrow cot. A window with bars on the outside. Emma, wearing a borrowed hoodie 2 sizes too big, sits on the edge of the bed, staring at the moon. She clutches her sketchbook, but doesn't draw. Outside the door, muted voices, a social worker talking with someone about procedure and 72-hour hold. Emma hears the words. Best for her. Emotionally volatile. Not stable with Mr. Marshall. Tears form. She shuts the book. Hallway. Minutes later. A cleaning cart is left unattended. Emma watches. Waits. Quietly slides the window open in a utility room. The rain is light, but steady. She climbs out. Foster Center back lot. Night her feet hit the pavement. She runs across empty streets, past closed diners, her shoes soaked, her breath ragged. Ethan's apartment. Living room. Ethan stares at the door. Still, haunted. Nina, Dad? He doesn't speak. Doesn't blink. Then, a knock. He jumps up. Opens the door, but it's just a neighbor. Dropping off an envelope from court. No Emma. City alleys. Night Emma hides beneath a loading dock, hugging her knees, soaked to the bone. She opens the sketchbook, draws a tiny version of Ethan and Nina holding an umbrella over her. Emma disappears, and Ethan doesn't know if he'll ever see her again. Downtown side street. Early morning, rain still falling. Emma lies curled beneath a metal staircase, her sketchbook clutched to her chest, her face pale, lips trembling. Footsteps crunch nearby. A coat drops gently over her shoulders. Woman's voice. Hey, sweet girl. You okay? Emma flinches, looks up. A woman in her 60s, silver hair, kind eyes, kneels beside her. Mrs. Langford, a retired teacher who volunteers at a local shelter. Mrs. Langford, you shouldn't be alone. Not like this. Emma doesn't speak. Mrs. Langford gently helps her up. Notices the sketchbook. Mrs. Langford. Softly. You draw? Emma nods. Mrs. Langford opens to the most recent page. Ethan and Nina holding an umbrella over her. Her eyes water. Mrs. Langford's small apartment. Later Emma sits on a warm couch, wrapped in a blanket. A cup of cocoa beside her. Mrs. Langford dials a number written inside Emma's sketchbook, scrawled faintly beside a heart. Mrs. Langford, into phone. Hello, I think I have someone very important to you. Ethan's apartment. Same time. Ethan answers the phone, groggy and anxious. His breath catches. Mrs. Langford, V.O. She's safe. She found me, or maybe I found her. A pause. Mrs. Langford, Candida. But Mr. Marshall, there's something else. She wasn't just running from the system. She was running to you. Ethan's eyes fill with tears. The person who finds Emma calls Ethan and tells him something that shifts everything. Mrs. Langford's apartment. Morning A. Knock. Emma sits up on the couch, eyes wide. The door opens. Ethan stands there. Soaked, breathless, eyes filled with disbelief and love. Emma, whispering. You came. He kneels and pulls her into the tightest wordless hug. They stay like that, time standing still. Ethan, choked. I'd find you in every storm, every time. Mrs. Langford watches quietly, wiping her tears. Family courtroom, 2 days later. Wood-paneled walls, quiet tension. Emma sits beside Ethan, holding his hand. Caldwell sits on the other side with his lawyer. Judge Monroe eyes the file. Judge Monroe. This child ran from state custody. Not out of rebellion, but out of love. She didn't flee danger. She fled toward safety. The judge leans forward. Judge Monroe, conted. Mr. Caldwell, being a father is not possession. It's protection. It's presence. And Mr. Marshall, you've shown both. Caldwell stiffens. Judge Monroe. Emergency custody request, denied. And unless compelling evidence arises, permanent guardianship remains with Mr. Ethan Marshall. Gasps. Caldwell slams a folder shut. Emma looks up at Ethan. Emma, does this mean you're stuck with me? Ethan, smiling through tears. Forever, kid. Ethan's apartment. Night. Nina, Ethan, and Emma eat dinner on the floor. Laughter echoes. Emma opens her sketchbook. On a new page, she draws 3 stick figures, under a roof, with a heart above. She writes, "Home. It's not where I started. It's where someone waited." A full circle ending where love wins not just custody, but healing.